In the personal story segment tonight, a family reunited after a Massachusetts judge rules that a 16-year-old Connecticut girl should return home to her parents. Justina Pelletier was at the center of a custody battle between her parents and the state of Massachusetts in a dispute over health care, medical care. Fox News host Mike Huckabee has been front and center in the fight to return Justina to her family. He joins us from Washington. Mike, take us through the story. We've been hearing a lot about it, but maybe we don't know all the details. Break it down for us, Mike.
This girl had been treated for 2 years by a doctor at Tufts Medical. He had transferred to Boston Children's. She needed to see the doctor. She was taken by ambulance to Boston Children's. They admitted her through the emergency room, and instead of going to the doctor she went to see, the doctor who originally was at Tufts, the ER doctor consulted with the psychiatrist, and in 30 minutes they decided that all of her medical work was wrong. She didn't have, as she had been diagnosed with mitochondrial disease, it was all in her head, and it was her parents' fault, that they were the ones who were pressuring her to believe she was sick, and they said she wasn't. They captured her from her parents. I say it's a state-sponsored kidnapping. For the next 16 months, this girl is held by the state of Massachusetts in custody. Her parents aren't allowed to see her. She doesn't get to go to school. She doesn't get religious services. It is the most outrageous abuse of a state against parents I've ever witnessed. Eric, I was governor for 10.5 years. I cannot imagine a state doing something like this to a family. That's why I got involved. Liberty Counsel became her legal counsel in February. They've been petitioning the court and finally got a settlement from the judge, at least to let her go home. But this case, I think, is far from over.
Mike, what excuse did the Boston Children's Hospital give to the parents that they were going to keep the child instead of giving Justina back to her parents?
Well, originally they used the excuse that it was the diagnosis, that it was the parents' fault, that the girl had gone from an active figure skater to being unable to walk and in a wheelchair. But then they said that the parents were abusive to them and threatened them. Eric, I'm going to tell you something. I'm a parent, and if somebody had taken my child from me without just cause and hadn't presented any evidence that there was a reason for them to do that, I'd have been Billy Jack on their face. So I think the Pelletiers were extraordinarily gracious in light of what they were being put through by the state of Massachusetts. This, again, is the most outrageous abuse I've seen. And I think what finally happened was Massachusetts realized they couldn't justify it. They were asked to... Yeah, go ahead.
Did Governor Deval Patrick get involved in this at all?
Well, he finally did, at least up to a degree. He said he would look into it. He never came out and specifically said anything other than he did admit to the family's official representative that he thought that they should be reunited. Well, eventually they were, but without Massachusetts ever proving or even ever bringing any specific charges against the family. And they never visited their home. They never provided any evidence whatsoever from any other family member, including Justina, the girl, that the family had been abusive to the girl. There's no evidence of that whatsoever. And this is why this case, I think, has just really captured the attention of mothers and fathers all over America, because they say, my gosh, if the government can take our children from us for something like this, what happened to America?
Right, and so they based it on the fact that they thought they saw physical abuse to Justina?
No physical abuse. That's just it, Eric. There was no signs of any marks on this young lady. This was because they didn't buy the diagnosis of a very good specialist from Tufts. I mean, it's as much an outrage against the other medical practitioners who had worked with this girl for 2 years and had diagnosed her with mitochondrial disease as it was to the parents. But for the fact that an emergency room resident could see her for 30 minutes and know more about what was wrong with her than a doctor that had been seeing her for 2 years, then to bring the Massachusetts Department of Children and Families in it, and to get them to conspire to take her from her parents and not let them visit her except 1 hour a week with armed guards present. It is just an overstep of government authority, and no family should have to put up with that.
Mike, let's talk a little bit about Justina. How is she? Did they treat her well? Did she get better?
No, she actually got much worse. I think one of the reasons that Massachusetts finally realized they needed to let her go, this girl was deteriorating rapidly, and her physical condition was truly remarkably bad. She was in a wheelchair. She'd lost much of her hair because they wouldn't give her the medication that her originally doctor wanted her to put on, because they kept saying, it's all in your head. Well, it obviously wasn't, and so when they let her go, she's in good spirits now. She's so excited to be home. She at least got to spend her 16th birthday with some friends in an institution, but now she's home, and she will make her first public appearance on our show a week from Saturday. I can't wait to see her, and I want to hug her, and I want to say I'm so glad you're home, and I'm so grateful these parents didn't give up. But then again, no parent would give up and just let their daughter be taken.
Thank you very much, and great job, sir.
Thank you,
Eric.
All
right, be sure to check out Governor Huckabee's exclusive interview with Justina Pelletier and her family next Saturday, June 28th.